You get your paycheck, and before you touch a single dollar, the government has already taken its share. Federal tax, state tax, Social Security, Medicare. By the time the money reaches your account, 30 cents of every dollar you earned is already gone. You didn't choose this. You didn't negotiate it. The system took it automatically, because that is exactly how the system was designed to work, for someone who earns the way you earn. Now consider this. Last year, Warren Buffett paid a lower tax rate than his secretary. He said so himself, publicly, without shame, because there was nothing illegal about it. Elon Musk paid 0 federal income tax in 2018. Jeff Bezos paid 0 in 2007 and again in 2011. These are not criminals. These are the most visible beneficiaries of a tax code that was not broken by the wealthy. It was written for them. This is not a conspiracy. This is arithmetic. And once you understand the arithmetic, you cannot unsee it. The paycheck trap. When you work a job, you earn what the IRS calls ordinary income, salary, wages, hourly pay. The government taxes this first, fastest, and hardest. The more you earn in salary, the higher your rate climbs. At $60,000 a year, you are paying 22% federal. At $150,000, you are paying 24%. At $500,000, you hit 37%. The system is designed so that earning more through work costs you more in tax. This feels logical until you understand that working is only one way to make money, and it happens to be the most heavily taxed one. How do wealthy earn without earning? The wealthy do not primarily make money through salaries. They make money through assets, stocks, real estate, private equity. When those assets grow in value, that growth is called unrealized gains. And here is the critical detail. Unrealized gains are not taxed at all. A billionaire whose stock portfolio grows by $400 million in a single year owes the government exactly $0 on that growth because they have not sold anything. The money exists. It is real. It is measurable. It is just not technically income. So, it is not taxed. You paid 30% on the money you earned by showing up and working. They paid nothing on $400 million of new wealth. Same country, different arithmetic. The capital gains secret. Now suppose the wealthy do decide to sell something, a stock, a property. The profit is called a capital gain, and capital gains are taxed at a completely different and dramatically lower rate than ordinary income. If you hold an asset for more than 1 year before selling, the maximum federal tax rate on that profit is 20%. Compare that to 37% on salary income. The system taxes money that works at half the rate it taxes people who work. This was not an accident. This was a policy choice made by legislators who understood that the people who benefit most from lower capital gains rates are the people who own the most capital, which is not you. Not yet. The loophole nobody talks about. Here is where it becomes architectural. A billionaire holds stock their entire life. The stock grows from $1 million to $1 billion. They never sell. They die. Their heirs inherit the stock. At the moment of inheritance, the IRS resets the cost basis of that stock to its current value, $1 billion. The $999 million of growth that happened over a lifetime, the gain that was never taxed because it was never realized, is permanently erased from the tax record. Gone. Forever. Their children now own $1 billion of stock and owe tax on $0 of gain. This is called the step up in basis. It is legal, it is intentional, and it transfers generational wealth across family lines without ever passing through the tax system that you fund every 2 weeks automatically before you see a dollar. Borrow. don't sell. But wealthy people don't even need to wait until death to access their untaxed wealth. They borrow against it. A billionaire with $1 billion in stock walks into a private bank and uses that stock as collateral for a low-interest loan. They receive hundreds of millions of dollars in cash. They spend it. They live on it. They build on it. And because a loan is not income, they owe zero tax on any of it. The stock continues to grow. The loan sits there at 2 or 3% interest, often lower than inflation, meaning the real cost of the debt is effectively nothing. They are living on borrowed money backed by appreciating assets, paying minimal interest, and generating no taxable income whatsoever. You paid tax on your paycheck before you could spend it. They borrowed against wealth they never paid tax on and spent that. Same country, radically different rules. What your taxes actually fund. Here is the part that closes the loop. The tax revenue that runs this country, the roads, the schools, the Medicare, the Social Security, is funded disproportionately by wage earners, people with salaries, people whose income is automatically reported, automatically withheld, automatically visible to the IRS before they ever file a return. The mechanisms that allow wealth to accumulate without being taxed, capital gains treatment, step-up basis, borrowing strategies, these are not available to someone living paycheck to paycheck. They require assets to execute. And the people who have assets are the people who need taxes least. The system is not taking equally from everyone and spending it equally on everyone. The system is collecting most aggressively from the people who can least afford it and providing the most sophisticated protections to the people who need them least. What this means for you. Understanding this does not change the system, but it changes something more immediate. It changes the questions you ask. When someone tells you the wealthy pay their fair share, you now know what to ask. Fair share of what? Ordinary income? Capital gains? Unrealized gains? Inherited wealth? When someone tells you the system is broken, you now know the more precise answer. The system is not broken. The system is functioning exactly as it was constructed to function, by people who understood it, for people who could use it. The question that remains, the one this video cannot answer for you, is what you do with the gap between the system as it exists and the system as it was promised. You were told that working hard and paying your taxes was the agreement. You held up your end. The code was written before you arrived. The rules were set before you sat down. You are playing a game where the other side wrote the rulebook, administers the referee, and has been playing since before you were born. Knowing that does not fix the game, but it does mean you are no longer confused about why you keep losing.